Today, I'm giving away Transformers swag and talking to you about what I thought of a special IMAX preview that I went to last night. What is up, YouTube? It's Josh. This is the Den of Nerds. This video is all about Transformers The Last Night. I'm going to tell you kind of a funny story about some interesting things that happened to me with regards to the movie, and that will lead me in to a special IMAX screening that I went to last night with footage from the upcoming movie, and I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about this. But first, I want to tell you the story of how someone like me ends up at an IMAX screening of Transformers with a bunch of members of the press and fans and crazy things like that. So I have to tell you a couple of different things. We're going to kind of have to Tarantino this and chop this up. So first, I want to tell you about Monday. So Monday, I'm talking to a man named Lawrence, really cool guy, a guy that I interact with a lot at Starbucks. We've had some really deep conversations, and we're both in this digital media game and doing different things. So very cool guy. And we're talking on Monday, and then he basically, right before I left, was like, hey, before you go, I had a question. What do you think of the Transformers movies? And then I tell him the story I'm about to tell you, which is that after Logan, I'm driving back from King of Prussia to the city of Philadelphia with my homies. We're all thrilled. We're all jacked, man. We loved Logan. The energy was high in the car. Everybody's loving this. We've started to go to the movies a lot together as a group, and it's been really, really fun. So all of my friends ask me the same question. What do I think of the Transformers movies? And I immediately killed the mood, just brought everything down in the car and explained how I hate the Transformers movies, and I think they're all garbage. I didn't even see the last one. I think the first one is okay, and that's about it. My friends really get mad at me, and it was this crazy thing. So I tell that story to Lawrence on Monday, right? So then he goes, oh, well, this is going to make this a little awkward because I have some screening tickets to a special press thing for the Transformers movies tomorrow night. And I'm thinking, oh no, like I shouldn't have said that, like I've ruined everything. And then, you know, he still invites me, and I said, yeah, you know what, I'll go. Even though I poo-poo on the movies and I think they're garbage, it could be a fun experience. It'd be cool to do that. And it'd be cool to hang out with Lawrence, man. I mean, like, you know, we interact at Starbucks or whatever, and we've become friends because last night we had a hell of a time. Went to this thing. It was awesome. We got some drinks afterwards. Really good time. So that then brought us to the IMAX theater last night. We're in line. Huge freaking line, by the way. Tons of people there to see this thing. Very cool setup. And we get up to the front of the line, and they give us a ton of swag. I was really blown away. They gave us these here posters, which I'm going to be giving away 2 copies of this poster. I'll literally ship them out to you if you live in the continental United States. All you got to do is be a subscriber to the channel and comment on this video. I'll give it away. Also got this shirt, which I'm going to be giving away. It's a medium because at the time I was getting the shirt for me, and so I got a medium. So, you know, hopefully that'll fit whoever wins or whatnot. And I also have this phone charger. It's a really cool little USB phone charger with the Transformers logo on it. Really cool stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 2 people randomly from this video, and I'll give away one of them will get a poster, and the other person will get the t-shirt, poster, and charger. They're going to get totally swagged out. So all you got to do, subscribe to the channel, comment on this video. But as far as the footage itself, like right before we go in, this gal who I think does social media for like Paramount or whatever, like literally pulls Lawrence and me aside and says, hey, real quick, before you guys go in, do you want to talk about your feelings of the screening? What are you looking forward to? And we're both just laughing because we're so self-aware of my position on the films. And Lawrence is like, you picked the wrong 2 dudes. And I was like, okay, well, do you want me to be honest? And I have no idea if they're going to use this or not, but they asked me, and I said, look, it's giant robots. It's really cool, but I honestly have not liked any of the Transformers movies. My expectations are really low, and to be honest, I'm not that thrilled. And then this guy who's apparently a local radio star or whatever pops in to our video too and says it's more than meets the eye or whatever. And it was just like so awkward, but like kind of awesome too. So I don't know if they're going to use that or whatever, but that's like the craziness and the serendipity of the circumstances that brought me in to see Transformers. And so here's the thing. I'll give you my honest opinion about the footage and what was seen. And I gotta be honest, I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to talk about this, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So the movie itself, Michael Bay starts by getting on and kind of explaining. There's a sizzle reel, which I think was actually available online late last year. He's talking about the IMAX 3D, how IMAX is great, and he's put together these two IMAX cameras to shoot natively in 3D, which, as a fan of like film and technology and stuff like that, it is a really cool idea. They're literally using multiple fields and different camera angles to build the 3D imaging and like the depth of the particles and the space and everything, like right then and there, which, as they said, is not trivial stuff. It's very cool. Then we cut to this other thing where Michael Bay is sitting in a grassy field. It was like really weird. He's sitting in this grassy field and he makes mention of the 14 writers that sit down, or that had sat down rather, and expanded the mythos of Transformers. So basically this news broke last year. I remember, I think Collider broke it or whatever. I picked up on the articles and I read it, and it's interesting. They had all these really great writers actually come together. They locked them in a room, and they expanded the mythos of the Transformers movies. And this was kind of meant to bridge a gap between fans that think the Transformers movies are just Michael Bay CGI bloodfests and they're just crazy and there's no substance and everything like that. And I found it interesting that even Michael Bay would make mention of that. And he also said that, like, he keeps saying this is his last one, but this one feels fresh and it feels different and different things like that. So let's talk about the footage itself. What was shown? Look, it was really choppy. There were different characters that they wanted to introduce and different like plots and different things like that. The setting right now is that the whole government, or the whole world, I guess, is really against the Transformers, whether they be Autobots or Decepticons. And they're kind of like putting them in one group and just hating on them. They think there's all these signs of saying that Optimus Prime is an enemy and weird stuff like that. So a lot of what you see at the beginning of this footage was this young girl, this young Latino girl, or, possible Mexican. I'm not sure what her ethnicity is, but she is interacting in this hiding place with these young kids that break into this ballpark, which is like quarantined or whatever. And I gotta be honest, I didn't see Age of Extinction, so I have no idea the framework for this movie. But honestly, these movies are so forgettable that even if I had, I probably still wouldn't know. So these kids and this girl are interacting. You see some of the Transformers. You see one of them die. Spoiler alert, I won't say which one. And really crazy stuff. The military has these robots that really remind me of Metal Gear Solid. Like, they look like the robots from Metal Gear Solid 4, those crazy two-leg robots. Kind of cool stuff. There's a lot going on here, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of that Michael Bay dialogue that really just kind of weird stuff going on. They also tie in, I think one of the things, if I'm being honest, that was cool about the footage is they tie the mythos of Lancelot, the Round Table, and King Arthur to the mythos of the Transformers, which is kind of interesting. So they're basically saying that like the dragons and the giants and all these things that were in those old stories were actually Transformers, and that maybe Merlin, who is thought of as a magician, was somehow gifted with some kind of a Transformer-esque ability. And I do find that cool. That's a cool idea. Probably directly came from that writer's room of the 14 writers. It's dope. I like that a lot. And then the footage kind of shows you like the interaction between this girl who gets saved by Mark Wahlberg and the Transformers that are hiding out in this junkyard. There's this one character who is just this young black dude who was hired, I guess, by Marky Mark. And so he's hired by Marky Mark, and their interactions are kind of funny. It reeks of that campy dialogue from Michael Bay. And, then there's inciting incidents. The government finds out they're hiding there. They have to run. They're on the run. And then this very interesting side plot, which I think you can kind of put together from the other promotional materials. But there's this butler robot who's this, like, he's a little robot. He's not a Transformer. He's always in that form of butler. And he's super powerful. He's really strong. And he's going to abduct or get Mark Wahlberg and take Mark Wahlberg to go see Anthony Hopkins, and that whole situation's weird. And then we get the first meeting of Marky Mark and Anthony Hopkins, and the one shiny, I mean, like, come on, it's Anthony Hopkins. Like, how can you go wrong? And honestly, the character he's playing in this movie is really intriguing because he's kind of like crazy a little bit and he bumbles a little bit, but he still has that way of speaking that just Anthony Hopkins gravitas, to his language. But he also says things like dude, and this one car pulls up, hot rod pulls up to the mansion with, I think, Anthony Hopkins' daughter or granddaughter or something, and he goes, oh, she's a bitchin' car. And it's just like really cool. So there's some really good stuff in this footage. It goes on to kind of play out a trailer footage that we've seen. And so that's basically what was shown. It kind of gives you an idea of the characters, the world that's there, the mythos, and different things like that. So it was a lot of interesting choices. Now, here's my honest opinion about the footage. This whole event was some kind of fan and press event. It's a PR stunt to try to get people to really buy into the Transformers. They really want this movie to be successful because I think it is going to set them up franchise style, MCU style maybe, with this deep mythos and to kind of branch off and build from there. And the thing that's really weird is the whole event started with Michael Bay talking about the 3D tech and the Imax dudes talking about 3D tech or whatever, but the footage we saw was not in 3D. And Michael Bay actually even kind of explains this at the beginning of the footage. He says, look, that we weren't ready to get this stuff to you in 3D, technological this, that, blah, blah, blah. It's not in 3D, but you should still get an idea of what's going on. And here's the thing, like, to me, that's just dumb. Like, if you're going to market the IMAX 3D and the fact that you're shooting in native 3D, then you should have made this in 3D. Like, I don't know. I'm not a business person, like, behind the scenes with Paramount or anything like that. But, like, I think that's a huge mistake, right? Like, you're marketing this aspect of the film, and then with this PR thing, not showing it at all. There are also scenes which I actually found interesting where even the CGI on some of the Transformers wasn't finished. So you have that really weird half-rendered puppeteering kind of thing going on. And while I honestly found that to be interesting, for the function of what this event was, I was like, dude, that's in bad taste. Like, don't show us half-done footage for a movie that comes out in 2 months. Like, that probably was not a great idea. And I think the bottom line is this is, and I have I can't substantiate this at all, but this is my personal feelings about it. They were just trying to get people to really buy into this thing. And that is why they showered us with swag. That is why they made this event so cool. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of those efforts were wasted because the actual footage itself didn't change my opinion at all. I'm not excited for this movie. I don't like the way Michael Bay handles the Transformers. I honestly would be more pumped if Michael Bay wasn't on this project and we had some other guy talking about this franchise and what was going on. And to be clear, I actually like Michael Bay. I thought the 13th hour or 13 hours or whatever that movie was dope. I thought, obviously, Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2, Armageddon. Look, the guy's made some cool movies. But the thing is, his take on Transformers, I have never liked. And so I found myself in this really weird spot where it's like, well, look, this is a really fun event. I had a good time. I was treated really well. But what am I going to say about this, right? Because it's a wasted opportunity if I don't talk to you guys about it. But I was like, what am I going to say? Well, I have to be honest here. Okay. It's just like, whatever, dude. And my honest thing is like, dude, these movies make bajillions of dollars. Like, why the hell do you need my money? Like, why do you need to sell me on it? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like what this event was for was selling people like me. People that like these sort of things but haven't bought into it, right? Like, I don't like Transformers the way I like some of these other nostalgic reimaginings, remakings, or continuations, like, Star Wars, Dragon Ball, or whatever. I don't have a Transformers themed show or any kind of content on this channel, and I probably never will. I mean, unless this movie blows me away. By the way, I am going to go see it now. So all my buddies or whatever, like, I just felt like it would be shady for me because I straight up told them I wasn't going to go. But that's a whole other thing. But I am going to go now and experience that with them. But I wanted to kind of break this down for you guys, explain what was happening there, and kind of tell you what I think of the footage. And it's like, all right. Yeah. Okay. So that's just honestly how I feel, and that's what I had to say. So please let me know in the comments section, like, are you pumped for this movie? Do you think it's a fresh take on Transformers? Do you actually like the other films? I know plenty of people that like the Transformers movies. I'm just not one of them. So hit me up in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts, and you're definitely going to want to do that if you like Transformers to get some of this swag. So that's the game for this one, guys. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day. See ya.